to say this because Taylor and I were just talking about it, and he said when we were talking about it that he was like, I wish that this was still running. Um, all I want right now is just two big handfuls of Rice Krispie treats. I had one, and one just makes me want six. And if I had six, I would want 34 of them. And if I had 34 of them, I would want 72 of them. And it would keep going until I was just one giant Rice Krispie treat. Because if one of something is good, then 10 of something is great. Now I know that the world doesn't work like that, but I want it to. I also want to acknowledge that my good friend Eric, he remembered somehow that I'm a big fan of this band from the 80s. And he sent me a picture of a t-shirt that he found in his box of old t-shirts and remembered that I loved this band. So he sent me this t-shirt. And sometimes it's just really nice to have friends that think of you and think of things that you enjoy and just are kind. Have we thought about how rich it is that somebody can look at something and they think of you and all of a sudden it turns into this kindness? Man, those are good friends. It wasn't the path of least resistance. It wasn't the easy thing. It actually dislodged something inside of his head that caused him to move forward in kindness. I really like that. I really like when brands behave that way. I like when companies behave that way. I like obviously, when my friends behave that way. And I think that that's one of my threads that's running through my world right now is deliberate kindness and deliberate gratefulness and deliberate all of these things. Because if left to my own devices, I would choose the lesser path. And I want to choose the higher path. I want to choose the higher road. I can remember years ago, there was a local writer. He was a Thunderbeat writer. He was talking about, this is whenever Russ and KD and Harden and everybody were all in Oklahoma City. And he made this statement on one of his podcasts talking about that we need to enjoy this moment because one day we will look back at this and realize that we were in the good old days and to enjoy it while it was here. And I thought that was really beautiful, like recognizing in a moment that something beautiful and special is happening. And he wasn't wrong. The sentiment was generous. It came from a real place. But there's this cascade that follows behind it that is human nature. And that cascade shifts from being grateful and savor this, and it shifts to this idea that this is as good as it gets. Heck, there's a movie about this is as good as it gets. And something about that thought bothers me, because be grateful for this and savor this is not the same as this is as good as it gets. It's not the same. One is enjoying the moment. The other is surrender. One is abundance. One is scarcity. And the slide between those two things is so quiet that I don't think that we notice that it's happening. And somehow we can trade, in a moment of abundance and beauty, we can trade gratitude for grief. And somehow we shift it into the place where appreciation becomes the quiet acceptance that the best was already behind you. Now, I got pretty serious pretty fast, but that's an area where that's an area where poison crawls in, because that's the place where that's not gratitude anymore. That's fear dressed up. It's fear dressed in a grateful hat. I was sitting at an event the other night and I'm talking with an entrepreneur. He's a guy that I've known for about a decade. Really great guy. Really enjoyed everything about this conversation. He's probably in his mid-30s. His company is succeeding, like, in big ways. Really great things are happening for him right now. And we were at this announcement event that he had hosted downtown. Really great. And we just ended up in this conversation and it was really beautiful. And he he brought up that idea of enjoying the good old days, recognizing right now this is the moment to be grateful. And he was saying it because he's in it. He's fully in it. He coming back to this idea of noticing the bright moments. He was appreciating them. He's holding them close. And I felt all of that. I felt the warmth of all of it. I felt the beauty of this person succeeding. And somewhere in that conversation, something surfaced inside of me. For me. And I said this to him. As beautiful as these moments are, I believe that there are more. There's no shortage. There's no lack. Eyes always forward. I've experienced a lot of really cool things in my life. Stood in front of a lot of crowds. I've 49 states and 38 countries, and all the things that I've talked about in so many episodes on here. I've stood in front of big crowds. I've done cool things. I've got to travel. I've got to have great relationships and great conversations. That I've had so much that's beautiful that's happened in my life that I feel intensely grateful for. And I've had these experiences that are beyond my imagination. But I will tell you, as surely as I'm sitting here at 54, I am not done. And I looked at him and I told him, my best is not behind me, it's ahead. And that wasn't me scolding him. That was me saying something I needed to hear. That was me saying, as beautiful as these moments are, appreciate them and enjoy them. Be grateful for them, but also look forward and know that it is possible, that better is still coming. And honestly, I'd never had that thought before. That wasn't a reminder of something that I'd already thought or felt. It'd never been a conscious thought before that moment. And that conversation with that friend in that moment surfaced something as a reality that I wanted to embrace. The conversation didn't retrieve it. It surfaced it as a conscious thing. And honestly, I didn't know I believed it until it came out of my mouth. And you know what's really fun? That's what a good conversation does. It's not just an exchange of ideas. It surfaces what you didn't know that you already believed. And it might be because they encouraged you to do something, or they reminded you of something, or they pointed out something. It might be something that you encouraged them with. And it's this exchange. And in this exchange, the chemistry of this actually, the hope is that both of you walk away better. Because if we ever let it stop, if we let the period at the end of the sentence be, these are the good old days, there is death in that period. There's death in that sentence. There's grief in that sentence. Because the moment we decide the best is behind us, we start hoarding and protecting and spending our energy collecting these moments instead of enjoying them and being grateful for them. Because if we're not careful, we'll stop reaching and we'll start managing memory. And I stubbornly refuse to do that. Maybe my best days are behind me. Nope, not buying it. Better is ahead. Because I refuse to back off the belief that more is possible. My friend Todd always talks regularly about mountains and climbing and all those things. And it surfaced this thought for me of that the altitude is real and that I've touched it once. And that climb is possible again. Not the same way, but just as real and maybe even better. And the point of this conversation today isn't a warning bell. It's a dinner bell. It's not look out. It's you're never going to believe what's coming next. Because there's this really almost mystical thing that I believe. People who expect more good days tend to get them. Not because of luck. Because the looking is part of the arriving. We find them because we are watching for what's possible, not what we're afraid of. Because I really believe this. What you believe is possible has a way of making itself true. Because the good old days aren't over. And believing that isn't wishful thinking. Believing that is an invitation. And at 54, I'm believing that. I'm buying into that. I'm doubling down on that. I'm embracing that. Thanks for being here with me today. See you next week.